that, Matt?
Well, the last 2 weeks we completed at over 80%, and today I think we were under 50. So what that did is put us in a position where we put ourselves under an immense amount of pressure, and the opposition took advantage of it.
Matt, what do you put that down to? Why did you drop so much ball?
That's a really interesting question. I certainly didn't see any of that in our preparation at all. So we're definitely going to have to do some really heavy research into that.
What was the message at half time, bearing in mind we were playing against the elements?
I'll be frank with you, I was confident that we were still in the game. But we came out with errors in our first 3 offensive sets and first 3 defensive sets after half time, and again we just kept building pressure on ourselves instead of the opposition.
Simon, you've been at the club for a long time now, mate. What's the reason for the massive fluctuation in what we can see from the Warriors each week?
Yeah, it's been pretty poor of late. It's definitely a tag you're not proud of. We had an answer which we hadn't. But yeah, we've started our first 2 games pretty ordinary. We played the last 2 not too bad, and we're building. And today we sort of take a few steps backwards. Like Matt said, I can put my finger on anything on our preparation. So yeah, definitely find the answer, because we can't be going up and down throughout the year.
When you walk out on the field, do you know how your team's going to play? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, like with that preparation, I said there was nothing to say that we were going to play like that today. So even being down at half time, we knew we could score points, but scoring points wasn't going to be the problem. It was our defence. And for us, if we want to get consistency, our defence has to be our main focus. And today, being over 35 points is nowhere near good enough.
When did you sense it was beyond sort of hope?
I'm not too sure what stage, but they got a fair way ahead, and I guess it got to a point where we pretty much had to just focus on our defence and show a bit of fight at the end, and it was still pretty poor. We played most of the game in our own half, hardly any back-to-back sets, and that makes it too hard. You're working too hard to hold a team out, and they scored plenty of tries today.
Yeah, how do you turn things around with the Bulldogs? Going pretty good.
And one of the things that wasn't absent was a heap of effort. We just had to put far too much effort in defensively. So I would say quite comfortably across the team defensively, the defensive effort from 90% of our guys was exactly where we needed to be. 90% still not high enough. So the turnaround's really about cut out the errors that we made and complete at the same level that we did last week, and we all give ourselves an opportunity to compete. That's what it gives you, isn't it? So today we denied ourselves that opportunity. You can't compete when you make that amount of errors. It's not possible.
I guess Nathan Freer personified the defensive effort. I think he racked up about 65, 70 tackles.
He shouldn't be in a position where he has to do that. That's the issue with is that those numbers sound great, but that's on the back. I know in the first half they had 100 plays in a half. So and I think they would have gone close to repeating that. So that's monumental. So you have to make that amount of tackles, and that's Friendy's. I thought Friendy's effort today was colossal. We had a lot of people do the same thing, but we don't want to be making that amount of effort.
And obviously, when they're up against the winless start to the season, I mean, you guys must have come in knowing that they would be really desperate for when if they go 5 million down, it's just about their season goal.
We certainly discussed it, but we also were pretty emphatic that this was about us ensuring that we came with the right attitude. It wasn't about the opposition. We certainly do our preparation on every opposition. We didn't ignore any of what they bring. We're a side that we have a heap of respect for what they do, You know, we knew that they were 0-4, but they did lose 2 games by 2 points by 2 teams that are travelling pretty well. So we weren't. You know, all our talk was about the challenge that this team was going to present to us.
Does it get much easier next week with Bulldogs?
Yeah, the challenge is to ensure that whatever was the major contributing factor for our lack of respect for possession needs to be turned around. That'll give us the opportunity.
Thanks.